But when it comes to Evernorth, I think they're going to be extremely successful at providing a MNAV that is over 1. So what is MNAV? It's a multiple of NAV, MNAV. Net asset value is NAV. So like a ETF would trade 1-to-1 with the NAV. So, however many shares, or however many XRP are issued per share, as the, price of XRP goes up, the share prices go up in correlation. When you have a DAT like Evernorth, which is a digital asset treasury company, then you can do some interesting things. You can issue debt, you can do convertible notes, you can borrow money to buy the asset and then put it to work in ways that are a little bit more unique than what's available on chain. So like the Solana and the ETF, ETFs, they can stake those. Bitcoin and XRP don't have a native staking mechanism. So they're really limited in what they can do to be able to pay a dividend. There is an ETF that does pay a dividend, a 3% dividend on XRP. So not quite sure how they're doing that. I need to better understand that, but that is live. I do think that Evernorth will pay a dividend of some kind, and I think the share price will likely trade above MNAV. So if you were invested in Evernorth, it would be like a leveraged bet on XRP. If they're trading at 1.2 to 1.5 times the net asset value, that's the type of return you'd be seeing as XRP were to move up in the near future, I think. So is it a good buy right now? That's up to you. Again, it kind of depends on your risk tolerance. I've talked about this before. If you have, a low risk tolerance, you probably just want to stick with the ETF. You probably don't do a leveraged ETF or a DAT. If you have a bit higher risk tolerance, because it can also trade below NAV. Like there's a lot of DATs right now that are underperforming and not doing well because the market's down. So if, you can have like exponential losses or exponential gains. Just depends on, what the market's doing. So it's a leveraged play. If you have higher risk tolerance and you can stomach that in your portfolio, then it might make sense to make an allocation to a DAT or a leveraged ETF. The leveraged ETFs tend to be for like 2 times leveraged or 3 times leveraged XRP ETFs. They tend to be more for trading, right? So if you're holding it, you actually end up performing worse than the asset over the duration. But if you are trading it, if it's inside of an IRA or a 401k, which are tax deferred or tax free, that's a way that you could play those. Again, I would work with a financial advisor. I would work with somebody that's sophisticated in order to be able to trade that effectively and be able to get the most out of it. Again, most traders, 96% of traders, lose money. So I'd say for most people, if you're looking for a set it and forget it type thing, probably the ETF. And if you're looking for, kind of a levered play and you do think that Evernorth is going to be successful, which I do, then it might make sense to make an allocation there.